Hello and welcome to the next upload of our disaster series, where we are in the process of putting a massive theme park together. So everything that you see now all needs to be rehomed, removed and actually reinstalled properly as a theme park slash Lego city. But in today's upload we want to try and get this thing placed, we want to get the Paul Ace Brickman placed, we want to get the corner garage sorted out, and we're going to figure out what we're going to do with the Ghostbuster firehouse. So we've got a couple of options. The first thing I was thinking of is maybe throwing that into there just like so, and then that is that. So that was nice and simple because that would just fit in there lovely, and then we can create a path that goes in onto the front, which would have been lovely and simple, and that is what you get. So we've got the cinema is in place, if you didn't catch the last upload. Then what we've got behind it is we can create on the lives a custom alleyway, obviously for the Batman, and then that just comes from the Jazz Club, so it's basically behind the Daily Bugle because it's just too high for the shelf. And if you want to know the scale, it is a brick, so you've got a brick depth. Then what we can do is you can put all these road plates in, and then I thought, well, that could go there, that can go behind it, and then we can figure out what we want to do. Then I came up with another idea of what if we just threw the Joker Manor in right here, instead of having this there, to add a load of colour in right in the middle. So I thought the Joker Manor would cause absolute chaos and carnage, and then we could potentially put the No Way Home set in as well with the head, and have this as sort of our middle island of bits and pieces. That's why I was thinking maybe we don't need the Ghostbuster firehouse over here anymore. So what we will do is we'll just literally keep pushing all of this stuff over, because I've got nowhere else to put it currently, so it is an absolute nightmare. Now, what I do like about the Joker Manor is not only is it an absolute stunning set and it's very, very colourful, it has displays on both sides. Now, it is a monster of a thing, as you can see just here, so it is a beauty of a building, but maybe we might, he says, be able to put it in side on. The track would overhang ever so slightly, but that wouldn't matter. That wouldn't matter too much. Now this is fully complete, which is what I like. So we've got the option of it going somewhere like that, where we can obviously create what we want to do, and then we've got that bit on the side, so you can see that bit on there. And then you've got all of the activities and stuff on the back, where you've got all the rooms and everything, because it does look very, very effective. Or obviously the more simpler way of doing it is we just have it forward facing, and then the track overhangs the walkway, so the road is the walkway like it would be in a lot of the theme parks, because obviously we are creating basically our superhero city. And I think that might work if I can get that down. The only thing is, the second this goes in, I've got to move quite a lot of stuff to get the other bits and pieces in, but we can make that work. We could bring that right to the front, and the road would still work behind it. So we could have it like that, and that is how that would look. So that in front, we can have a little path coming up the stairs, nice and simple. We can have a queue line from the back if we need to, and obviously this road then can connect behind it, and then we can have another building beside the Jazz Club. So that'd be easy enough to see just from there. Or I was going to say, the other thing is we push this back. I've never had these so close together staggered like that. I think that looks quite nice. Now obviously the plan is the Avengers Tower. Now I'm thinking the Avengers Tower might go about here. So I'm got to leave a 32 by 32 base plate for that. So we've got big, long, big. And then we can just make massive amount of displays. Now the other thing that we can do is in the front here is we can have all sorts of displays going on at the front. We could potentially then just put all the road and everything round. This could obviously be pushed back ever so slightly. So if we wanted to, this actually could, well, it can go wherever we want. So if we wanted it tucked in to the side just there, we've got a single walkway, so we can easily just have a path going through, path it to the front. Jobs are good and nice and easy. And then I can just throw in the other modulars at the back. I like that, I think, with regards to the colour, and I think it's nice and eye-catching, and I don't think it's going to be lost, because I want to put the loop roller coaster on this table eventually, and with how that loop roller coaster looks, I think it could work quite well, and I think it looks quite nice, because obviously the Joker Manor is just by fluke is right beside the Gotham police station, and it does have the Batman symbol up at the top. So I think that looks quite smart. Now, next thing that we need to figure out and do, obviously this is all going in rough. You guys and girls can let me know if it's any good or not. I think if we put the Ace Brickman in, and then I've got the diner that I need to put in as well, and then potentially put that one in the far corner, because again, the issue that we've got is that if the Daily Bugle is the same height, sorry, if the Avengers Tower is the same height as the Daily Bugle, we will have some more wasted space at the back. So what we might be able to do is actually just create a path or row, shall I say, of modulars going from the back wall across, so they're actually facing inwards. And then we could have some other little bits and pieces on display, because the No Way Home set, I don't know if that is just on a 32 by 32 base plate head. So I don't know whether if I can get away with just having, like, say for example, another modular and then have the head over in the front and then a row of modulars off it. This is where it's going to get a little bit tricky when I don't have the sets, and we've got to figure out what we're going to do with the Doctor Strange set as well. I thought having those two close side by side would work, but then we have got all of this over here where we can just keep going on there, and then if we need to, all of this over this side can still be for our superhero display, because we've got tables on tables on tables of space. But I just don't know if we need to put the Ghostbuster Firehouse in, especially with all the other bits and pieces going in. But what I am annoyed about is I am missing a pink flag and I'm missing a grey piece at the front. That is the only two pieces that I'm missing. So I know this is fully complete, and it has got all the minifigures with it as well. It is a stunning set, as you can see. But I think maybe we won't have the Ghostbuster Firehouse in, and we'll just keep it to the superheroes. And maybe the Ghostbuster Firehouse, that can go over with our haunted house, and then maybe that can go with some other haunted bits and pieces like the Stranger Things sets, and we can make something really, really creepy and spooky on that. But what I want to try and do now is we'll get the diner in beside the jazz club maybe. I think that might be, or do we go for that? I'm not too sure what would look better. Facial wise, I think maybe the pool house goes next, and then the diner goes standalone, and then the garage goes beside the diner. So again, what I've just done is I've just put the Joker in the way. So I now need to move the Joker and then see what drops, smashes and gets crushed. The Joker can go back onto that table, so that is a good thing. The diner is kind of together, but we will repair that as we go. So we'll get this up, on and off. It's a massive, massive thing. If they actually did make this as a set with regards to it being a Wayne house or Wayne Manor, I'd be all over it, but they've not. They've just made it a funky thing like that, which is again perfect for me. And they have got some other nice sets out and about. So you've got Arkham Asylum. Now again, with the Arkham Asylum, because it is one big theme park, do you keep it over in the superhero section, or do you end up adding it into the horror section? That's something else to consider. So again, that gets pushed over, that gets pushed over. All of this is going to be tiled properly. It's all going to be mopped and done fantastically. What isn't fantastic is I can't quite reach. Right, so that is on. That is there. So what we're on. The only thing is that the bricks aren't level at the back. So that is going to be a bit of a pain. But I think that is how that will work. So hopefully that looks all right so far with those going in just there. I think we might get away with that potentially. And then what we will have to go underneath is we've got the diner to go in next. So let's see if we can get the diner in. Right, so the corner garage, I think we'll actually have to kick back in on itself and actually become a corner. I'm not too sure how far we will be able to go, and obviously all of this, I think after the next module goes in, will need to be tidied up because, well, it's all in the way. So it's now becoming a bit of a reach and a struggle, and basically everything's just going to get smashed like that. So I am full stretch on those. That is out the way. Right, the diner, which I now have to pick up and over the Joker Manor, which is not going to be ideal. Now the fascia has just pinged off on that, and this is filthy on the back because all that brick dust, as you can see. That's the only problem with this. Don't suffer with a large amount of dust, but when it goes wrong with the bricks and stuff breaking, it's not the nicest thing. But we've got this piece that we just need to plonk back on, so we can get that on when it gets pushed in, and then we can start to figure out the shape of what we are going to do. But I think a row of 3 will be big enough. So that is what that looks like. That's those 3 in now. I think they look all right all together. So you've got the diner, so on and so forth, and then we can just figure out what way we're going to go. Hopefully 3's okay, because the Avengers Tower will then go as the next one potentially, but we'll just have to pretend that doesn't exist at the moment. But by the time, more than likely, this has been uploaded, it'll be announced, because that is how my luck goes when we do these kind of videos. So with regard to the corner garage, what I should be able to do, if I can reach, is if I just put it in bodged for now as a straight line, that'll just give me enough space to do whatever I want to do once I've tidied that area up. Now we will put the Joker Manor back in, see what it looks like with regards to everything else, and then we've got to figure out if that layout works, because the No Way Home set will go somewhere around here. The Doctor Strange set will go somewhere around here, but maybe the Doctor Strange can go a little bit further over. And then obviously the carousel, when that comes off, we've got plenty of room over that side. But I think it looks okay. I think it works as a sort of city street diorama. When we start getting all of the other big buildings in, I think it will work well as a sort of superhero walkthrough, because you've got all the rides and everything to come. So that is back in. I think that does work very well. I think the colours are beautiful, and with a little bit of a backdrop like that, I think it's absolutely fine. So we're going to have to sort of play with the rest of the space of what happens. I don't know if the Avengers Tower and the Daily Bugle need to be really close together, or spread out equally. But what I have got is all these famous bits that we put together in all the lives. Obviously this is the patchy stuff, so this is our Gotham side of stuff as such, before we merged it with the really fancy stuff from New York, because I suppose technically that should be out the front of that because it's the right colour. And then what I'll have to do is manipulate and just chop and change everything over on the live, so we can actually just have that yellow connecting. So we've got the road bit into here, and then that is a single road. We can then add a plate into that, but I do believe then what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to drop those into place. Now, I can't see how much space there is, because I think we should be absolutely fine. So we have got plenty of space behind that. Look, this is the issue with this table. It's just an awkward size. So this can go back if it wants to, but I think with it being so far in front and that gap between them, I think it allows us to see it a little bit better. And then obviously what we can do is we can then get some nice photos with all the road plates and everything. But because I have got a full strip of them, what I'll be able to start to do is something like that. So I know the arrows are wrong, but as an aerial picture, we can create the queue line behind it. I think you guys and girls should see that. And then we can connect it from half yellow to half white in that gap. And then again, if we wanted to, how far can this go back? That's all the way back if you wanted it to be, and then we could actually have a bigger display up front. And to be honest, I don't really think that actually eats into it at all. I don't think it's too close to anything. The only thing is that it's just the walkway, isn't it? So I'll leave that in line with that to start with, and then we can figure out if we want a big battle display going on at the front. And obviously I need you guys and girls to let me know if you think that works. Now the next thing to decide is going to be if we are going to bring over the Ghostbuster Firehouse, because the Ghostbuster Firehouse could very easily go over here, but with the bits and pieces that are to come. So what's on the list, we've got some other cool things that can go with this. So there are some sets available which I would like to pick up. Obviously the Avengers Tower potentially might be a day one pickup for me, because I think it's an absolute stunning thing. But it does mean I've got to backtrack the Doctor Strange set. Also the John Wick Hotel, the Hotel Boutique needs to come in, but I think that'll start going that way just to bring it out over there. Because what I then might do is just add in these little funfair bits, and I think the funfair bits can just be part of sort of the city, so we've got like a younger bit. Obviously this is our coaster because there is an actual bit on the track, as you've seen, that thing shoots around, so that could be that's our main ride. And then obviously you've got all the fascias and the shops and everything around the outside. It just looks, I think it just looks the part, because we'll fill this full of all the superhero minifigures. Now obviously what we were doing, in the process of doing, was this kind of thing. So with regards to here, rather than having the road like that, we could just have that in front of it and just have a huge battle going on just in there, and then we can customize the front end and customize everything around it, which I think again might look quite smart, because we'd have all the Batman villains and everything around there. We can have some of the cars and everything parked up. There might be another unit that could go directly beside that. We could have two DC things side by side. There could be a Batcave or something that might be able to go beside it, maybe. That might look quite smart actually, because that might not be too open and you can see the stuff behind it, and then have the taller bit behind that. But I still think no matter what happens with regards to the Avengers Tower, I would like to be able to see the bottom just like so, because I think we'll be able to make a really, really nice display. Now, if you're wondering what that gap is, there obviously I can't fit anything in there with regards to the modular, so we are going to make something custom to go in there at some point. So I'm going to need your guys and girls advice with what to do with that. I'm now eyeballing that corner garage, and I think maybe that corner garage can come right up to the front just here, and that's where this corner garage can live. Or we pull it out and we just put it somewhere else completely, because it's an odd one, but we can use it as a shop. It's obviously just very good for a fascia. We could use it as a staff room. It's got a good ceiling space, so we can have a load of minifigures just chilling out on the top just up there, so that'll work quite well. So it's getting there. It's getting there slowly, I think. Now the next thing, obviously, or not in this upload, but one of the things that we'll have to do is get this thing moved over onto this table. But as it stands, I need this table to do the other little bits and pieces with. And I think, as I eyeball all these bits and pieces with you, we can maybe start to just, so for example, that is with that. Obviously this cool Joker just here. He can just be chilling out up there, and he's got his little thing just there, so we won't want to lose that. So I've got loads of those Jokers, and then when they're all in, we can then just start making a really nice custom display. So the other thing that I actually need to do, and I'll do that right now, is before I start to fill up this, is just throw in one or two little bits and pieces. One of the back cars is over there, one of the cinema cars is over there. I'll just bring that over. I don't know whether to this time have a load of cars dotted around and a big battle scene going on, maybe up the buildings instead, because we've got all the rooftops that they could be fighting on now. And the other thing I have got, and it is in the unboxing area slash dumping zone, is the nice Batwing. Now that thing is a perfect scale, and I am yet to do what I've done over there and add it on top of one of the buildings. Now the Quinjet was on top of the Daily Bugle, and if you're wondering where that's gone, it is currently in a bin liner. Oh, that's a lie. It's in that Lego bag in as many pieces as you can imagine with it smashed, along with a good few other things as well. So like I said, if you've not caught up with the last couple of uploads, it's painful. So that is regarding this. I need to get the bat thing. I'm just looking at the bits and pieces here, making sure that there's nothing missing. We've got Alfred in there in the canoe, so that he can stay in there. He's our little Easter egg for something else. Now the A-frame at the moment, I don't know if that could squeeze up in there. I think that might fit in there, but I don't know if that look odd. So I might leave that and we'll do something custom. All of the horror stuff, that's nice and simple. We've got 3 tables length there. We've got a table there, 2 tables there, and another table over there. Plus, well, all of this stuff where we've got all the Ninjago bits and pieces, which potentially could still stay there. We could keep the Ninjago bits and pieces in there. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. But I like how this is kind of coming together. It's completely different layout, but it will work because obviously we're just using the cars as a decor, and then we can customize all the paths and everything around. It will all connect through. I just don't know. If you could let us know in the comments below, and I'll do a bit of research after this video, is the new Spider-Man set on a 32 by 32 base plate? I think it is, because if it is, and it's just this, we're laughing, it can go anywhere. Because again, potentially that would fit in that corner, depending on the height. because if it could fit in that corner and we had the Doctor Strange set basically underneath it, there's a teleport thing, isn't there, between the two sets, and that could work quite well. So potentially that would be splendid if that is the case. Right, waffling as normal. Let me go and get the Batwing. Right, I've just ran to get this. So this is the little thing that we need to do. We've got the tumbler, the car, and then we've got this little one as well. So the plan for this maybe will be up over one of the buildings. So got to figure out how we're going to put that on. I reckon up high. I mean, let's be honest, that doesn't look too bad at all, does it? If it was up on there, maybe at the slight angle, if I can get a stand. Obviously, I have been using the clear bits and pieces to stand up some of the others. They're somewhere, I don't know where they are. And then we had the Batmobile jumping over one of the rooftops as well, so that could be put somewhere. So we have to figure out exactly where we can do that as well. So that's those two, so they'll have to be figured out where they'll go, which we'll do in a different upload. This is easy enough. This can go on this display once we figured this out. Now what I've done is I've just quickly changed it to that 32 by 32 base plate, where we can just put the road in, leave the taxi there, and then we'll have the bank robbery at the front. And then what potentially I might do is actually then push this back by 32 studs and carry this on going around the corner. So the more I look at it, the more I quite like the roller coaster close to this, but I might angle it or push it back as far as I can. The way I know it will fit on these tables is if this bit is to the front and it just takes up the whole front, and then everything else behind it is all to do with the superhero stuff, so that's not too much of a problem. I do quite like the fact that we've got everything easy enough to see. So you can see it says coaster, you've got the Daily Bugle, and then you've got the Joker. It's all in and around like that. So obviously, because it being a theme park, if we can build the rest of the display around it, I think it looks quite nice. But obviously what I don't want to do is put smaller stuff behind this and you can't see it. But let us know in the comments below what you think. Should I keep that there? Should I move it? Should I move it back? Obviously this side, all of this, when this all gets pulled out, it would be a lot easier to mess around with it. This actually, the plan of this is actually to go here anyway. Obviously, or we could put the smaller one there. We could put the smaller space coaster in there, and then we potentially could have some of the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff around it instead, because we were going to do some NASA bits and pieces with that, but we don't necessarily have to do that. That is over just there, so it's like a figure of 8, so it's much smaller than this, but it is a completely different shape. So it's about half a table it takes up, so again it is a good size. But I think, guys and girls, that'll be where we will leave it at for now, because until I can start getting some pieces and do some of the little bits and pieces. And basically what I need to do is create more space. So we'll move on to the next zone in the next upload. And then when I've got a little bit more space and moved all of these bits and pieces, we can then start adding all of the smaller stuff, and then we can get into all the fun stuff, like all the detail and everything like that. But if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Help me as much as you can in the comment section as we go. Like I said, this has been going on now for a good amount of time, and I'm glad that we're getting back on track of it. We've got, well, this is just a smaller section of everything. We've got the Rivendell stuff still to go, all the Haunted stuff to go. The Harry Potter stuff is going to be interesting to figure out exactly how we're going to do that. And if I do get the new one with the coaster track, then how are we going to do that with regards to raising everything up? Because that is something to consider, because that needs the ceiling height, so that could be a bit of a headache quite quickly. The Loop roller coaster, ideally, like I said, wants to go here, but then if we don't get it, or we run out of space, that's one thing. And then with the Avengers Tower, if it doesn't look right there and it looks better here, for example, and then this just goes, you know, there's lots. So we'll leave it there, sleep on it, think about it. You guys and girls let us know. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll catch you next one. Ta-da.